The next tool you need to have for this that's going to be very helpful is checking the angles of what you've drawn. You take your viewfinder, the straight edge, you can use anything with a straight edge, and you put your straight edge of the viewfinder parallel with the shape that you're checking. So that's parallel. If I were checking these glasses, that's where it would be. If I was checking the angle of this part, then I would be putting it like that, and so forth. If I was checking the angle of this, then I would put it as parallel to that as I could. Okay, so anyway, you put it parallel to that eye, and then without changing the angle, you're going to slide it over and see if it's parallel on this one. It's not. Let me show you a little bigger. This is the angle that is the original eye, but I drew the angle more like that. So it's off, okay? It's off a little bit, but it's still off. So I need to go back and fix that because that angle can make a big difference. So I'll go back in and rework that and fix that so my angle is correct. Okay, that's pretty close. I would be okay with that. That's close enough. All right, let's take a look at some of the things that can happen when the grid isn't followed carefully enough. Now, I think most of you would agree with me that this does not look like this. I mean, there's some similarities, but there's quite a few things that are off. What are some of the most obvious things that you notice in here that aren't matching up to here? I'm going to start with this eye. Now this eye is pretty close to what it should be. This eye was drawn thinking that it should be the same angle as that eye. But let's take a look at this and see what's really supposed to be happening. I'm going to check my angle with my viewfinder. So I put my viewfinder here, and that's about parallel with that. And then I come over here, and that's not matching up. In the angle on this one is more like that for it to be parallel. The angle on this one is pretty much horizontal. So that's way off. That angle of that eye is tweaking out this face. So you would have to fix that so that it's more, instead of like that, it's like the other way that you can see that something's wrong with this is in this part of the eye is in row 6. Over here, it's in row 5. It should be down here. So that also can tell us that something is wrong. Okay, let's take a look at the mouth. We can see that something's going on here just by looking at it without even really paying attention to the grid that carefully. It doesn't look right. And the chin looks too long and the mouth looks too close to the bottom of the nose. If I go over here and I look, I make my halfway point and I make my halfway point here. This line should be down here, which brings everything else down. The other problem with this is look how skinny the top of that lip is. Look how thick it is up here. So that's wrong too. Where does this, sorry, where does that end, that part of the mouth, where does it go? It goes all the way over to C. Okay? Over here, I have it ending in D. It needs to come all the way over into this, maybe not that far, into that area. Okay? It goes all the way over into that row. So that's not long enough that way. And let's see, where does this one end? It ends all the way up here. If I go in and check my angle, let's see, I'm going to check this angle right here. So that's parallel, pretty much parallel to that part of it. If I go to that same part of the mouth, oh my goodness, it's way off. This is the angle of that one. Okay, all those things are going to put things way off. Let's look at the chin and see what's wrong with the chin. The chin is in, the bottom of the chin is in row 9. Well, that's correct. It's also in row 9 here. But look at where that chin hits the line, how far it goes into that box. Sorry, if I'm looking at this point right here, and I make my halfway, and I do the same thing here, where's that chin supposed to be? It's supposed to be going just below the halfway point. So it's supposed to come like this instead. And then go up like that. So all of this was drawn down too low. One more thing we're going to take a look at, actually two. These nostrils are not in the original. This is somebody saying, oh, I know a nose has nostrils, so I'm going to put my 2 nostrils there that look kind of like little circles. The other thing is there is no line here for the nose to show the sides of the nose, and those shouldn't be there either. That's also saying, I know there are 2 sides to the nose, so I better draw lines there. If it's not over here, you don't draw it over here.